Okay, welcome back everybody to the week 2 wrap-up video. We're going to go through the changes that were made after week 2 games, see what the top 25 looks like. We'll check out the conference standings and see if there's been any change in the Heisman watch. There wasn't any through week 0 or week 1, but now that most teams have 2 to 3 games in, I'm thinking there might be some changes there. So let's first go over the top 25, see if there's anything different there. It looks like not much change here. The top 5 is still dominated by the Big Ten and the SEC, with Ohio State at 1, Georgia at 2, Oregon at 3, Ole Miss at 4, and Alabama at 5. A lot of teams moved up this week. Texas, with the big loss to TCU, dropped. Florida State dropped, and Notre Dame at 0-2 started out the season in the top 5, I think, or 5. Maybe they're at 6. Uh, Big loss to Kansas State. They're down to 24. Let's check out the coaches poll. Not much different. Still Ohio State and Oregon number 2 instead of Georgia. Then we got Alabama and Ole Miss rounding out the top 5, and much of the same down the rankings. Notre Dame's all the way to 25 in this poll. All right, so that's the top 25. We'll check out the most important part, though, is the conference standings, because this is a relegation league. And we'll start off with the ACC. Clemson at the top at 2-0, both conference wins. Two other teams are 2-0, and NC State is the only other undefeated team with one conference win. And we'll scroll down to the bottom, see who might be going into the relegation league game, and some surprises down here with Maryland, Penn State, Virginia, and West Virginia all winless so far. Penn State's a shocker to me, to be honest. All right, let's go to their relegation league, which is the American Conference. And as expected, Boston College up top there, along with USF. So those are the teams that are most likely to be playing in the play-in game to get into the ACC at the end of the season. All right, next we'll check out the Big Ten. Iowa and Wisconsin, both 2-0 in the conference. Michigan and Minnesota, along with Northwestern Iowa State, which is number 1 in the land right now, all sitting at the top of the conference. Let's check to see. You got Notre Dame down at the bottom. That's shocking. Them and Michigan State are both surprises, along with Cincinnati, all 0-2. Cincinnati's 0-3 overall. All right, next we'll check out the SEC. Wow, Kentucky, 17th in the nation. They're sitting 3-0, 2-0 in the conference at the top of the league. Do got a couple powerhouses in here also undefeated. Georgia and Ole Miss. You got Mississippi State and South Carolina also undefeated. And we'll check out the bottom of the conference. Not really shocking here. You got Wake Forest, Tulane, and App State all 0-2, with also Tennessee with one loss in the conference, no wins. All right, next we'll check out their relegation league, which is Conference USA. Liberty and UAB at the top right there, undefeated. UAB also 3-0 overall. So those teams have the best chance to get into the play-in game. And next we'll go to the Big 12. You got Missouri, Oklahoma, TCU, and Texas, all 2-0 and undefeated in the conference. TCU with a big win over Texas. And then you got Missouri 2-0 overall. And we'll go to the bottom of the conference and see who's has the best chance for the relegation game. And there are 4 teams overall that have not won a game: Arkansas, Houston, old Big Ten team, Nebraska and Troy. All right. Then we'll go to their relegation league. And that is the Sun Belt. We got several undefeated teams here. You got Louisiana, Arkansas State, Louisiana Tech, all undefeated overall and in conference. Louisiana Monroe is undefeated in conference. So there's that league. And then finally, we'll go to the Pac-12. And the Pac-12 is got 5 teams that are undefeated in conference. BYU, Colorado, who has 2 Heisman hopefuls on the team. As of last week, they did. Number 3 in the land, Oregon, Washington, and Utah, all undefeated. And we'll see in the bottom league who might be in danger of going to the relegation league. You got Wyoming, 0-1 in the conference. Boise State 0-2, but they do have a non-conference win. And 2 shockers here, USC and Oregon State, all winless. And finally, the Mountain West. So Colorado State has the inside track to be at the end of the year, playing to get into the Pac-12. I think I skipped the conference. Did I go over the Mountain or to the MAC? We'll go over the MAC because I think I skipped them. They're the relegation league for the Big Ten. And you got Ohio, Eastern Michigan, Central Michigan, Miami, Northern Illinois, all undefeated in the conference, with Central Michigan and Miami being the only 2 undefeated out of conference. Buffalo's got to play some in conference games. So there you go. There's the conference standings after week 2. And finally, we'll go check out the highs and watch. See if there's been any changes there. Oh, wow. All kinds of changes. Looks like we have 5 new players in this Heisman Trophy watch. You got Haynes King out of Georgia Tech. Had a huge game last week, 400 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 83 rushing yards. You got Jacob Zeno out of UAB. Didn't really have that great of a game, but 187 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. He must have had a big game before that. You got Eric, I'm probably going to butcher some of these names, Ayo Manor from Stanford. Had 4 catches, 57 yards, and 2 carries for 6. 1 touchdown receiving. Braden Shager out of Hawaii. Hawaii always throws the ball throughout the years. He had 371 passing, 3 touchdowns, 14 carries, 62. So he's a dual threat guy. And then BJ Alexander out of Florida Atlantic. Big game, 5 catches, $117, 2 touchdowns. Also carried the ball 3 times with a rushing touchdown and 50 yards. All right, so there is your wrap up for the end of week 2. We're going to see probably in the games coming up in the next few weeks a lot of rivalry games. I know week 3 is going to be a big time rivalry in Keystone State, Pitt, and Penn State. I believe Penn State is at Pitt. So this is a nice thing getting into the regional conference alignment. You're going to see natural rivalries, teams that are close to each other playing each other all the time. So again, please like, subscribe, check out the other videos in this series. We're going to have at least 1 game of the week per week. This upcoming week, we might have 2 or 3 games because we are going to be getting in some top 10 versus games and some big rivalries. So again, subscribe, follow along, and please like this video. All right, I'll check you on the next one.